Okay, what is up, everybody? Here we are today with a GrapeBoy sniper deck. I don't really know. I mean, this is kind of like, it's kind of like an aggro deck, but then all your infantry costs 1 billion. So, just exploiting Nod versus heavy infantry.
Establishing.
Well, as in, because Nod can't kill your Grens very quickly.
3, 2, 1. New objective.
Well, Razor was playing his own match, so he had no comment on Joe's match of MTG. Sven? Is it ratings disaster, Sven? Is he going double half? I'll try and block it. Blocking with dog is way better than blocking with rifle as well. Because it's way harder, like a dog takes forever to clear. Well, that's a sad outcome for our opponent. Oh, I fucked it. Oh well.
Things are falling apart.
Blocked it for a little while.
Manipulated.
Let's see what he makes. Bikes. You got it. You got it, champ. I don't think these bikes can possibly clear my dogs in time. Yeah, it's a free first missile.
Unit ready. Nuclear weapon launched.
See if we can get the dogs to absorb the shot. Yep.
Building online. Unit ready.
Snipers are just so, like, fragile and kind of low DPS. I'm not a huge fan of them. Oh, I just realized there's no missiles in the deck. It's actually going to be pretty bad against air. Well, that's why we have Talon. That makes sense. That explains the Talon in the deck. Because if you're not going to have... You have to have an air-to-air if you're not going to play... If you're going to play, like, just Pitbull, then you probably need an air-to-air unit. I should probably be doing more turreting as well, actually.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Alright, this should be just game over, honestly.
Defense online.
Yep. Alright, GG.
Launched. Unit lost. You are victorious.
That's a lot of players, because most players are not on, like, you have to, whatever the online population is, you got to times that by like 10 to 20, 10 to 20, because like most players are only on for 5-10% of the day, if that. So yeah, in terms of player population in Rivals, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume there's like tens of thousands still, or you just wouldn't find matches quickly. Like, you find matches very quickly, and often there'll be people who are like, people will say like, oh well, you queue into the same person over and over, so there wasn't that many people online. And it's like, well, the reason you're queuing into the same person over and over is because you guys finished the game at the same time. So if you both queue up immediately, you're gonna be entering the queue at the same time, and it's matched you previously based on your medals being close to each other, so it's gonna match you again based on your medals being close to each other, because they're still gonna be pretty close to each other. So it makes sense, really, if you think about it. Two people with medals close to each other who queue up at exactly the same time, yeah, it's gonna match those guys into the same game a lot of the time. That's just common sense. So it doesn't mean there aren't other players to match into. It just means the game doesn't have a protection to stop you from matching into the same people again. Some games do have that. That is a thing in quite a lot of games. A lot of games will have a thing where you can't queue into the same guy twice in a row. Well, not a lot of games. I actually think it's pretty rare. I think it's rarer than it should be. I think more games should have it, where you can't queue into the same guy twice in a row. They had to change it in Hearthstone. I think they changed it in Hearthstone for streamers. Like, a bunch of the streamers complained. Because they were like, oh, this guy, like, is a stream sniper. And, oh shit, hang on. Ugh, that was painful. Yeah, streamers would be like, this guy is a stream sniper, he just queues into me. And then when I queue up again, he just queues into me again. Because he knows, like, he sees me queuing up on stream. So he just queues into me, like, 3 times in a row, and he's stream sniping, so he beats me. This is super miserable for both me and for my chat. So Hearthstone implemented a thing where you can't match into the same guy twice in a row. And this was like a huge boon for streamers, because they were like, okay, the stream sniping guy, even if he stream snipes me, he has to like play a second match before he can stream snipe me again. So that really helped out with stream sniping. I think a lot of games should have that, because I think a lot of people don't want to queue into the same guy right away, I know some people, like, after they lose, they're like, I want to immediately queue into that guy again and fuck him up. And that's fair enough. They want to, like, get their revenge because they feel like they got screwed on the loss. They feel like they deserve to win. And they're like, I'm better than that guy. If I queue into him again, I'll definitely win. So they want to queue into the same guy twice. But most people probably don't want to play the same guy they've just played. Like, most of the time you don't really want to play the guy you just played. And also it makes it look like there's a low matchmaking pool. Because people are like, I'm queuing to the same guy over and over. It's because there's no one playing. So I think a lot of games should actually have protection from you queuing into the player you just played. I think that's a really good system to have.
Establishing battlefield control.
Ooh-dee-dee.
2, 1.
You're in the league thing? Yeah, so then the matchmaking pool is split, right? If it's like, if it was like Deadpool's Diner or something, then the matchmaking is split heavily. So then you're more likely to queue into the same person. That's another thing with matchmaking in games. When people are like, you should have like all these different modes. And it's like, it's quite difficult to have a lot of different modes in a PvP game because the more modes you have, the more you split your matchmaking pool. If you think about this, like I'm playing an event right now, I'm playing Crate Challenge. So I cannot queue into people who are playing on ladder. So that's the majority of the rivals population I can't queue into. Because most people are not playing the event most of the time. Because most people aren't rerunning the event like I am for content. They'll play it once exactly and then be done. So the majority of players are not going to be in the event queue. So I can't queue into most people who are online right now. So if you have a bunch of different things going where people can play, like a bunch of different events or modes, people are like, we should have like unranked mode, just be an available mode all the time. It's like, well, the more events you have or more modes you have available at the same time, the more the matchmaking queue is split. So if you have a massive population, that's fine. If you can afford to have, like 90% of your player base not be in a mode and still have that mode be a game mode that people can play all the time, that's great. But if you only have like, a couple of 100,000 players or like 50,000 players, and bear in mind, most of these players are not going to be online most of the time. Like, if you have a player, they're only going to be online like 10% of the time or less. So if you've got all these players and most of them are offline, and then you've also got a bunch of matchmaking pools, very difficult to have quick matchmaking once you start splitting up the pools. All right, well, there you go. We've had a little chat about matchmaking today, which I thought was quite interesting. And anyone who didn't care about the matchmaking can watch the fun little game, Sniper Smash JJT. Anything that can hit JJT smashes JJT. The problem is most decks don't have things that can catch JJT. If you're like Shock Dog, you can't really hit the JJTs very often. If you have Sniper or Razorback, like things that can hit them, then they get clapped. Like super hard, because they have no hit points. If you play in the lower league events, it's like impossible to get a game. If you're playing like Diamond event, because the way the matchmaking pool for events works is anyone who was Master League or Tib League in the last 3 months plays Masters League events. So basically the majority of the rivals population is in Masters League events. So if you play low level events, you can actually get stuck where you can't get a match at all.
New objective available.
I have played on my Smurf in like Diamond League events before, and you just like, I actually could not go 10-0 because at 8 wins I just couldn't find an opponent anymore. Because there's so few players in the lower league events. And then it also has to match me with someone who has like within 6 wins or something. I can't remember how many wins it is. I want to say 6, but yeah, so basically there's like, I couldn't even find someone who had 2 wins who was queuing. So I'm just stuck at 8-0 because I can't find anyone who even has 2 wins to queue into me. It might be within 4 wins. I can't remember the number now. But when you play an event, it will match you with someone with a similar number of wins. And the matchmaking width is like within X wins. I can't remember the number. I want to say 6, but that sounds like a pretty big number in a 10-game event, so I'm not sure it is 6. But it is within a certain number. I just don't remember what that certain number is. And then it'll try and match you with someone exactly the same wins first. It tries to match you with someone who has the exact same wins first, and then will spread out further and further until it gets to the maximum. But there is a maximum, which means you can fail to find an opponent, which has happened to me even in Masters champs. That has happened to me, Because at Champs, you have a 15-game event. So 4 for 10 games, 6 for 15. I knew I had 4 and 10 in my head. And it turns out they were both correct for different things. So that explains why they were both in my head. Yeah, so like if you're 14-0 in Champs, you need to find someone with 8 wins to queue into. Which even in Masters League, like that can reduce the pool a lot. If you're playing on a Sunday, where most people have already finished the event, and then you need to find someone who has 8 wins to queue into when you're 14-0, that can actually be tricky. That can like, and that's why you can't have a bunch of different modes and split your matchmaking pools. Unlucky Orca. He almost made it. He almost made it to the half. Because yeah, if you split your pools like that, then it becomes very difficult to actually have matchmaking. Unless your game is super popular and you just have like 1 million players, and then you can do whatever you want. Man, we've been talking about matchmaking for like 2 matches of Rivals now.
You are victorious. Control. 3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Harvester ready to collect.
Building
Alright,
online.
Insomniac.
Unit ready.
What do you got going on? Nice alliance name? I didn't see his alliance name. What was his alliance name? Is the paid more, win more alliance?
Unit
Yeah.
ready.
The thing is, B-John, like, you are not alone for thinking there is a matchmaking algorithm trying to screw people. This is an extremely common opinion held by a very large number of people across every single game I have ever seen that has matchmaking. It is very, very common theory. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in any game, just to be clear. I'm not saying there's no game that has like some weird matchmaking where it's trying to scam you. I'm just saying that Rivals doesn't have it. Maybe other games do, and I don't know for sure. But I just don't believe Rivals does. And the reasons for this are A, I have never experienced anything like it, and B, I know the guy who coded it. So unless it is also possible that the guy who coded it is under an NDA. Maybe he has a really strict NDA where he's not allowed to ever talk about the algorithm, and he has to always deny it under like pain of being sued. So maybe there is actually a secret algorithm, and Joe, who coded it, simply is illegally obliged to pretend it doesn't exist. Which would be hilarious. That would actually be my favorite outcome. But yeah, I think that's very unlikely to be the case.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Another Venom deck? I think human beings also like just naturally look for patterns, right? That's like, I think this is like psychologically a thing that is real. It's why people don't believe that random works when it comes up with the same number like twice or 3 times in a row. They're like, oh, it's not random because I just got 1 3 times in a row. And you're like, well, no, the chance of 1 coming up is the same. The chance of 1 coming up is the same the first time as is the second time as is the third time. Sometimes 1 will come up 3 times in a row with actual true RNG. So I think people just psychologically look for patterns and believe in patterns. So it is very common to believe there is something going on under the hood, even when there really isn't.
Establishing battlefield control.
Joe has offered to get on VoiceCon to rant about the algorithm.
3, 2, 1. New objective.
Amazing.
Time to harvest.
Alright, we're up against
Building
City.
online.
Tell you what, man, maybe what we should do is make a YouTube video where we discuss the matchmaking algorithm. I could make it like a proper clickbait title as well, right? I could be like, lead network designer unveils secrets of Rivals algorithm. Now you'll finally understand why you're getting matched.
Building online.
Be a great video. The problem is the video would be like 10 seconds long, because it would be Joe going, it's medals versus medals. End of discussion.
Unit lost.
Maybe we could probably drag it out. We could have stories about algorithms.
Unit ready.
I think maybe we should do that video. People would love that video. That'd be a great video.
Unit ready.
Drone Swarm. I don't think I'm too bad against Drone Swarm. Drone Swarm just isn't really an issue if you're GDI. It's just a problem if you're not. He's gonna shoot that Pitbull and I'll send this one over. I could lose to the Drone Swarm flying left here. Oh, he didn't. He didn't do it. I could have lost if his unit on the right had lived and then he moved the Drone Swarm left as the Orca was also on the left. But he didn't do that, so I'm fine. Where's this Drone Swarm going?
Warning, our base is under attack.
I do think that I know I've talked about it a lot, but the economy in Rivals is such a problematic entity because the Tiberium value versus population cap is such a difficult one to balance. Like Drone Swarm is a great example of this. Drone Swarm for 20 Tib is not that powerful, honestly. Well, sorry, I mean, like missiles and Drone Swarm, like they are pretty powerful for 20 Tibs. The other way around, they are powerful for 20 Tib, but they're really not very good for one pop cap. Like they're actually a pretty terrible unit for a single pop cap because you only get like 4 units on the field. You don't want one of them to be a Drone Swarm because it's just not a very powerful unit. But in terms of 20 Tib, you get a lot for a 20 Tib. It has like 5 shots for a Pitbull to kill it. That's a lot of shots for a Pitbull to kill. It has really good DPS as well. Like a Drone Swarm's DPS is very high. But for a pop cap, it kind of sucks. So the value in them is that you can just keep making them over and over and over and over and over forever because they're cheap. But the problem is that you never really... It's very hard to like actually take control of the battlefield with garbage units. So they kind of have... They're a role player, but it's very hard to win with them.
3, 2, 1. New objective.
Alright, Mr. Kando.
Harvester ready.
What's happening here? What are we doing, Mr. Kando? We're not making bikes? What's happening? I don't really want to make a Pitbull, but maybe I should. I don't want to make a Pitbull in case he makes tank. And then I have to Gren. Maybe I should stall, actually, because Grens are quite expensive. Okay, I think I'll make a Pitbull now. I'm close enough that I can make Gren in response to a tank. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a shame that it was a tick tank, but at least Gren can actually chew through a tick tank, unlike Missile. I think I'm gonna beat the tick tank because it's unburrowed. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so he was stalling, waiting for me to make my Pitbull so that he could tank, which I was aware of. That's why I played the way I did. I wanted to slow roll my Pitbull. Because if I just make a Pitbull and he just makes a tick tank, I get ruined. Because then the tick tank easily burrows. He has time to make other stuff to defend. It's just a bad time all around. Didn't play that sniper very well. Get some more Grens.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yeah, I didn't turret in time. Just tank? Just tank Grens? Tanky Grens? Let's go. Gren's too tanky. Didn't play that game very well.
Mission accomplished. 3, 2, 1. New objective available.
Where did I go out for dinner? We went to a pub called the Dark Horse, which is also host to Slap and Pickle Burger Joint. And we all got tasty burgers.
Building online. Unit ready.
I don't know if I should have pulled the dog back there. Probably just leave it.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Did slapping pickles happen after? I wouldn't say it was a date, Jamie, unless you like. We went out with my friend from school and her husband, so I guess you could say it was maybe like a double date, although I probably wouldn't describe it that way, and neither would Cheryl, because she is not into double dates.
Unit lost.
Oh, that boost is aggressive.
Unit
I
ready.
think I've lost this. I think I've absolutely flubbed this missile. Yeah, I have.
Launch.
Couldn't clear the stuff in time. Spent way too long before I built my snipers. Made way too many dogs. Oh no, he's double half as well? Oh, this is a nightmare scenario. Absolutely messed up the first missile and he's 2 half. This is really bad.
Ready.
There's no way this Orca is not going for my half, right? Oh my god, it isn't? Insane.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
I wonder what his tech unit is going to be. I wonder if I can beat whatever it is. I've not been using my turret anywhere near enough in this game.
Unit lost. Nuclear missile launched.
What can I beat? Really nothing. I don't have Orca, so I'm actually in a lot of trouble. If it's like any vehicle based, I really can't beat it. Like I can't beat Titan, I can't beat Mammoth.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
Probably can't beat Disruptor. I definitely can't beat Disruptor because I'm Gren deck.
Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Kinda looks like it's just Orca spam though.
Defense online. Unit lost.
There's no tech unit? I'm so surprised.
Defense
Maybe he's just one of those players who thinks double harvester is strictly correct. If you're a newer player, you're like, yeah, more harvester is good, I have more money. You don't really understand the ramifications of pop cap. Oh no! Oh no, huge throw. What a beating.
mission failed.
Yeah, way too much talking. Badge.
2, 1.
My pitbull at the top just stopped. It's because I had ordered it to attack the Orca instead of go past the Orca.
Unit ready.
When was the last update? I think it was like slightly over a year ago for the last proper update.
Unit
And as far as we know, there is no patch on the way. There is no communication from the dev team. It would have been more shameful if he got me with a disruptor. I don't know if that's true. Like, if I messed up the first missile, like then losing to tech is like a pretty reasonable outcome of messing up the first missile. Just losing because I fucked up my pitbull micro is probably worse.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
Awaiting orders.
Building online. Unit ready. Unit lost.
The thing is, just spamming missiles and lasers is very good in Rivals.
Ready for action.
And it's not something I have access to in this deck.
Unit ready. Defense
I am
online.
definitely not using my turret enough.
Unit
My turret is incredibly good. I need to be using it a lot more.
launched. Unit lost. Defense lost.
Mutant is one of the things you really don't want to fight against with Sniper, because it just takes way too long for a Sniper to kill a Mutant.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost. Defense online. Unit ready. Defense lost. Unit ready.
Try not to throw again, because that last one was kind of embarrassing.
Weapon launched. Enemy base destroyed.
Yeah, man, I definitely...
3, 2.
I'll tell you what, actually, I'm a little concerned that when I play this event
Building
for Magic, I'm going to really struggle to actually think without saying it. Because I'm so used to streaming now and talking through my lines. I think I'm going to struggle to... I think I'm really going to struggle to, like, come up with lines in my head. I can say it out loud. Kind of gives away the... kind of gives it away a little bit if you're saying to the opponent, you're like, so I could flip my Ajani here, but then if you have a removal spell, it's really bad. Kind of gives the game away a little bit if you do that.
Unit ready.
I should actually send the Grens up rather than down. Because then I don't have to grind through the the blocker. Yeah, you better run. Grenadiers are coming.
Unit lost. Warhead cancelled. Nuclear missile launched.
Reporting.
People ready to streamline.
They're in our
Building online. Unit ready.
On my way. Weapon systems on.
awaiting your fit.
Blast them. Moving out. People in a dog fight. People here, what up?
Ready
People ready to view the workers as people here.
for action.
I really don't enjoy snipers.
Lost.
Getting them alive is such a grind.
Unit ready.
People ready pedal to the metal. What the fuck, streamline?
Oh, see you later, Giga Cannon. I just about kept it alive.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
There we go. Jiggly Cannon down. Put a turret down as well. Just get some turret action on.
Unit lost. Nuclear warhead launched.
Yay. Oh, man, difficult.
You are victorious.
Well, we did throw that one game. That was kind of sad, but 9 wins is not terrible. Should probably have been 10 pretty easily with that deck. That's a pretty solid deck. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you all next time.